Everybody lies eventually, even the people who swear they never would, because sometimes the truth feels heavier than they can carry, and sometimes one small lie is enough to change the feeling between two people who once trusted each other completely. Most lies do not start with bad intentions. They start with fear or pressure, or the sudden feeling of being trapped. When someone feels judged or exposed, a lie can feel like the quickest way to protect themselves. And in moments like that, even a tiny lie can feel like an escape from a truth they do not know how to say out loud. One of the biggest reasons people lie is because they are not ready to face the truth sitting right in front of them. When someone fears consequences or embarrassment, honesty begins to feel like something dangerous. And even if the lie feels small to them, the distance it creates grows faster than they expect. To the person lying, it might feel like protection, but to the other person, it feels like someone quietly slipping away. And the longer that lie stays hidden, the more it slowly wears down trust. Fear is one of the strongest forces behind lying, because fear makes honesty feel like a risk someone is not ready to take. People fear losing someone. They fear being judged. They fear having their flaws exposed. And that fear pushes them toward dishonesty. In moments like that, lying feels like the safer option, even though it is the one that eventually causes more pain. When fear grows strong enough, the truth becomes something people avoid, even if avoiding it hurts the person they care about. And before they know it, they are lying not to be cruel, but because they are scared of what honesty might change. But every lie leaves a mark, even if it is small at first. And when those small marks stack up, they turn into cracks. Cracks in trust, cracks in communication, cracks in how two people see each other. And the longer those cracks stay hidden, the more they begin to feel permanent. That is how small lies quietly grow into something neither person knows how to fix. Some people do not lie to protect themselves. They lie because they want to protect someone else. They hide the truth, believing it will spare the other person from pain. But even protective lies create distance, because avoiding the truth still builds walls. And that distance becomes a quiet space where more lies can grow. Even lies told with good intentions leave the truth waiting in the dark, untouched, unresolved. People sometimes lie because they feel they are not good enough, and the truth might reveal their insecurities. Low self-esteem makes honesty feel risky, like it could expose something they are ashamed of. So instead of saying what is real, they build a version of themselves they hope others will accept. But that version is fragile, because every lie added to it becomes harder to carry, and eventually the weight of pretending begins to crumble. Another powerful reason people lie is the need for control, the idea that the truth might take power away from them. When someone feels uncertain, lying can feel like the only way to hold on to stability. But control built on dishonesty always collapses, because lies might protect someone from the world, but they cannot protect them from themselves. And eventually every lie becomes something a person must face, whether they want to or not. Some lies form because a person wants to avoid disappointing someone they care about. They convince themselves that hiding the truth is kinder than revealing it. But the truth does not disappear just because someone avoids it. It lingers in the silence, waiting to be acknowledged. And the longer it waits, the more powerful it becomes. That is why even gentle lies slowly grow sharp edges over time, because the truth always wants to surface, no matter how deeply it has been buried. And eventually the weight of that hidden truth becomes impossible to ignore. Sometimes all it takes is one quiet moment for the truth to break through, and in that moment everything begins to change. Whether they want it to or not, some people lie because they want to avoid conflict, even if that conflict could lead to understanding. They convince themselves that silence is safer than the reaction honesty might bring. But avoiding conflict does not prevent pain. It only delays it. And the longer the truth is delayed, the more intense the fallout becomes, because conflict avoided becomes conflict multiplied. Another reason people lie is to protect their self-image, the version of themselves they wish were real. When someone feels insecure, a lie can feel like a shortcut to being seen the way they want. But that false version of themselves becomes harder to maintain, and eventually, the truth underneath becomes too loud to ignore. People also lie because they fear losing control over how others see them. They hide their flaws, their mistakes, their doubts, anything that might break the image they have built. But vulnerability is not weakness. It is the foundation of real connection. When someone chooses dishonesty instead of vulnerability, they lose trust and they lose closeness, because lies push people away, even if the liar hopes they will not. This is why hiding the truth creates a quiet kind of loneliness, because no matter how close two people stand, lies create distance that cannot be ignored. And once that distance grows enough, even love struggles to cross it. That is why the truth, even when painful, is almost always better than a comforting lie, because lies do not protect relationships. They quietly break them from the inside. At a certain point, the person lying starts to feel trapped by the thing they created. They are caught between the truth they fear and the lie they feel responsible for maintaining. And that pressure builds until honesty starts to feel impossible. Because now, telling the truth means admitting they lied in the first place. And that is when guilt begins to take over. Guilt lingers, it grows, and it refuses to stay quiet. It shows up in their tone, their body language, their distance, and even without speaking a word, guilt tells its own story, a story the other person can feel, even if they do not know the details, because guilt shows itself without permission, and the other person feels the shift, even when they cannot describe it. They feel distance where there used to be closeness. They feel hesitation where there used to be confidence. They feel uncertainty where there used to be safety, and even without hearing the truth, they can sense that something is wrong. That is the thing about lying. It changes the atmosphere long before it changes the story. Because even without knowing the truth, people feel it in the silence. And in that silence, doubt begins to grow. A doubt that whispers something is not being said. And once that doubt begins, it is almost impossible to ignore. Sometimes people lie because they fear the truth will change how they are seen. They are afraid honesty will make them look weak, flawed, or unworthy, and that fear makes even simple truths feel impossible to speak. So they keep things hidden, even when the silence hurts more than honesty, because the truth can be painful, but hiding it always hurts longer. People lie to avoid arguments, to avoid disappointment, to avoid tears. They tell themselves honesty will create damage, not realizing the lie is already doing it. And the longer the lie stays unspoken, the more it grows in the dark. It grows into silence, into doubt, into distance, and soon the relationship begins to feel different. Even if nothing has been explained, people feel the difference. They feel the hesitation. They feel the shift. They feel the uneven silence. And even if they do not know the lie, they feel its shadow. And once that shadow appears, trust begins to shift. Because trust does not break quickly, it fades quietly, one small piece at a time. And when trust fades, the mind begins asking questions. Questions about honesty, loyalty, what changed? And those quiet questions can hurt more than the truth itself, because it is not just a lie people fear. It is what the lie means. It means something important was hidden, and that changes everything.